They say lightning never strikes the same place twice. But what about the sky itself? What about a man so unlikely, so astronomically unlucky, that the universe seemed to take aim at him twice? Our story begins in 1954 in the quiet town of Sylacauga, Alabama. Early morning sunlight filtered through thin curtains, dust drifting lazily in the warm stillness of a typical southern day. Outside, dogs barked, a radio buzzed with distant static, and in his small workshop at the edge of town, Roy Patterson wiped sweat from his brow as he sanded down a piece of oak. Then came the sound, a splitting, ripping roar from the heavens, like the sky cracking open. Roy froze, heart thudding. Tools rattled on the workbench, the air trembled. He stepped outside just in time to see a streak of white fire tear across the clouds. Before he could move, something slammed into the ground at his feet, sending shards of dirt spraying across his legs. A smoking, jagged stone the size of a fist lay half buried in a crater no wider than a dinner plate. A meteorite. A real one. And it had nearly killed him. Neighbors came running. Reporters followed. Scientists drove in from counties away, baffled and thrilled. Roy tried to smile through the attention, but when night fell, he sat awake at his kitchen table, staring at the blackened stone and wondering what cosmic lottery he had just survived. He never expected a second ticket. 8 years passed. Life settled back into its slow Alabama rhythm. Roy married, took a stable job at a repair shop, and, despite the jokes, insisted that the sky had no personal vendetta against him. But then came the night of November 3rd, 1962. Roy was walking home under a cool, cloudless sky, hands shoved in his jacket pockets, breath misting in the crisp air. Crickets chirped. A distant train horn hummed across the fields. And then, again that sound. A tearing whistle. A scream of heat and velocity. Roy instinctively ducked. A tiny blistering fragment ripped past his shoulder, grazing his sleeve before burying itself in the dirt behind him with a hiss like hot metal plunged into water. He stared at the smoking hole. The impossible had happened again. 2 meteorites. 2 different falls. 1 man. Later, scientists would calculate the odds. Numbers so absurd, so laughably microscopic, that it felt less like chance and more like the universe tapping him on the shoulder. Twice. To remind him how small, how fragile, and how extraordinary a single human life can be. And Roy? He kept both fragments on a shelf above his kitchen table. Not as trophies, but as reminders. Because sometimes the universe doesn't send messages in words. Sometimes it sends them in fire. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.